Okay, this is kinematics in 2-dimension, which means we are going to deal with projectile motion. Mayara kita sang x kag y components this time. And yeah, we are going to use vectors as well. So there might possibly be calculus. Wala ko panansiran, but we have 3 examples here. So let's see. By the way, the formulas that we have been using since prelim, prelim? I think, yeah, that we have been using so far are going to be useful Japon, no? So just hold on to them. And then, yeah, there's no way to explain further but to look at an example. So first, we have a particle that moves in an xy plane. And it starts from origin. So, madraw kita diri sa origin kung nabe. 0. Okay? At time is equal to 0 seconds. So, just keep that in mind. Di ko na siya pag-isulat, no? But it has an initial velocity having an x component of 20 meters per second. So it's moving in the positive x direction. And a y component of negative 15 meters per second. So it's moving downward in the negative y direction. So it possibly is moving like this. So ang x naton kapakadto didto, ang y naton kapakadto didto. And this is what the velocity is doing to our particle. Vx. So, di Vx, Vy. Vx, Vy. So, gamat-amat siya panaog. Umani ang sitwasyon sa aton nga particle. So, we can list down the information that we have. So, our Vx initial is 20 meters per second. Vy initial is negative 15 meters per second. Now, the particle experiences an acceleration in the x direction. So that is Ax equals 4 meters per second squared. How about Ay? So it's not mentioned here. It just says that the particle has an acceleration along the x. So we can say that Ay is 0 meters per second squared. Okay? So what happens is, unlike free fall, so si free fall naton, we just know that our particle is influenced only by acceleration due to gravity. Meanwhile, for projectile motion, may just separate values for acceleration due to x and acceleration due to y. Okay? So, yeah. Amuni siya ang atong na-list down. Let's see. Yeah, there is still time is equal to 0 seconds. So, daan na siya danay. Okay, so let's answer the first question. Determine the total velocity vector at any time. So, velocity vector ang ginapangita. Butangan ko di siya sang hat, no? Para muna siya ang mapa-determine na velocity natin is going to be a vector. Look at all your formulas, and I think the most useful formula is Vf is equal to Vi, plus At. Okay, kaya may time man tagali mo. 0 seconds. Siguro dili ko na isulat. Time equals 0 seconds. Okay. So, we have Vf is equal to Vi plus At. Aman siya ang pinakamapuslanan so far. This is not yet vector. Kaya nga, ini siya is for one-dimensional lang ni siya nga formula. Diba? Lini siya sa 1D natin nga formulas. Para mangin vector ni siya, dapat i-separate naton ang para kay x component and ang para kay y component. So, remember I and J. So, these two guys determine that, okay, these are all for the x components and these are all for the y components, no? Okay. So, moving on. Ibutang tanan nga mga values. So, Vi is 20 plus A sa aton nga x is 4t. I plus, okay, Vi is negative 15 para sa y-axis, no? Plus, ang acceleration natin was 0, t, j. So, this is, wala na, 0 na ni siya. So, simplifying, guys, the velocity vector at any time is equal to 20 plus 4ti minus 15j. Or actually, dapat parenthesis na din mo. So, gin-bracket ko lang kayo just in case na kailangan ko magbutang parenthesis. But, mathematically speaking, so this is what it should look like. Okay? So, oops. Yeah, let's put it up there. Okay. So, idugon ko di siya. Siya ni ang ato nga answer for letter A para ma-erase ko na ni. So, yes, take a screenshot, take note of this, and we should proceed to letter B. Listen ko niya. Okay, for letter B, calculate the velocity and speed of the particle at time is equal to 5 seconds. And the angle the velocity vector makes with the x-axis. Miyara na kita sang na-solve for letter A. So, for letter B, ang aton sining velocity, pwede lang nga siya ipakaon si time nga 5 seconds. So, 20 plus 4. Oh, this is the time nga dapat magamit ko bracket. So, kaya tantanan doon nagamo na. VF is equal to bracket kita. 20 plus 4 times 5. This is I minus 15J. So, simplifying 20 plus 20 is 40I minus 15J. So, therefore, for letter B, the velocity at time is equal to 5 seconds is 40I minus 15J. Ay, nalipat ko, meters per second. Ang unit natin galit kapag kalimtan. Meters per second. Now, the difference, if you remember, between velocity and speed is that velocity is vector and speed is a scalar. Remember some prelim wherein gahambal kita nga, okay, this form is a, yeah, you can see the x and y components, but to get the magnitude, diba, mayara kita sang the absolute value ni nga symbol, ho. So, yeah, the magnitude of VF is equal to our speed. And our speed can be solved by square root of 40 squared plus 15 squared. So, hindi ka magkabalaka sa negative. Kaya negative 15 squared is positive anyways, no? So, square root of 40 squared plus 15 squared is 42.72 meters per second. So, butang ko de, ang speed naton is 42.72 meters per second. Okay. Now, if the problem asks you find the speed of the particle at time is equal to 10 seconds, so kabalo na kamo, ibutang nyo lang ade. So, this becomes 20 plus 4 times 10. Diba? So, that's it for letter B. Finally, we have letter C. Determine the x and y coordinates of the particle at any time t and its position vector at this time. Oh, nalipat ko. The angle the velocity vector makes with the x-axis. So, theta is equal to arc tan, of course. Ang y naton is negative 15 over ang x naton is 40. Diba kung magpakita angle, it's always arc tangent of ang y sa babaw, this is x sa dalom. So, theta, so arc tan negative 15 over 40 is negative 20.56 degrees. Which is true, kaya nga, ang aton tubang nga particle, ang iya nga motion is downward. Downward like this. So, ang aton sini nga angle is moving clockwise. Negative man gid ang angle ta. So, butang ta di siya. Negative 20.56 degrees. Okay. So, let's move on to letter C. Letter C, x and y coordinates of the particle at any time t. So, look at your formulas and look for a formula nga mera sang x final. The one I think that is very useful is x of f is equal to x of I plus vit plus 1/2 at squared. Okay. But this time, ang ginastoryahan natin is both x and y. So, instead of using x, ang gamito natin nga letter is r, okay? And then, dapat, butangan nyo man sang hat, kiti vector siya mo. So, you have rf, r final is equal to r initial plus v initial t plus, yeah. Isa lang ibang disulod nyo na pubutangan hat. Basta ang important lang is to remind yourselves na ginasuman yung vector niya. Okay. Just like what we did for letter A, separate nyo ang iyasang x components kag y components. So, RF equals RI plus VIT plus 1/2 AT squared I plus RI plus VIT plus 1/2 AT squared J. Okay. So, butangan ta na sang values kada isa. RI naton, since ara siya sa origin, no, ang aton nga position was in the origin, so 0 na ni. 0 man ni. Ang aton to kaging na nga acceleration along the y-axis was 0. So, anyways, this whole thing will become 0. Ang mga nabilin, butangan ta value. So, VIT becomes 20t. Kay at any time t mo, wala pa ta sang ibutang diri nga value for t, no? 20t plus 1/2. Ang acceleration sa x was 4t squared. This is I. Plus VI para kay y was negative 15t and this is j. So, we simplify this. RF equals 20t plus 1/2 times 4 is 2t squared. I minus 15tj. And this is the formula for the x and y coordinates of the particle at any time t. So, RF equals 20t plus 2t squared I minus 15tj meters ang unit sang coordinates o sang aton nga displacement. And its position vector at this time. Position vector, well, in this case, amo na ni siya ang aton nga bilog nga position vector. This is your x coordinate and this is your putang ko this dalom y coordinate. Okay, so yeah, all of these so far we used our topic in vectors. So yeah, and just still hold on to your formulas, no? We are going to proceed to the second example. Okay, second example, may figure ni siya pero kita lang na-drawing as. So, a stone is thrown from the top of a building upward at an angle of 30 degrees. So, may building kita, oops, wait, like this. So, ginaboy siya at an angle which is 30 degrees to the horizontal with an initial speed. So, VI is 20 meters. This is what the figure should look like. The height from which the stone is thrown is 45 meters above the ground. So, this is 45 meters. Oops. 45 meters. Okay. And I think sa aton nga naangdan with regards sa free fall, we also consider this as your YI, no? 0 meters, 20 meters per second. So, YI 0 meters and YF here is negative 45 meters, no? Kay panaog. Okay? Karon lang magamit na siya. Question A. How long does it take the stone to reach the ground? Now, our velocity here is a combination of two coordinates. So, ang guwasin na, isa-isahon, tagid ni siya. If VI is 20 meters per second, we will find out what velocity along the x component is or along the y component is as well. So, this becomes 20 cosine 30, diba? Kung x cosine. Kung y, 20 sine 30. So, with that, 20 cosine 30 is 17.3 meters per second. And VIY is 10 meters per second. Okay. Kaya ang ginapamangkot, how long does it take the stone to reach the ground? Ang aton diri nga concern is YF. So, we don't really care about XF because XF is when it goes over here, di ba? Kaya ang motion, di ba, kay tungod projectile siya, medyo palayo siya. Unlike sang free fall, yaga pa mo niyo, ang aton subuya nga situation, it looks like this. So, this is going to be, guys, note ko lang ha, kay later on makasugata kita sini. This whole thing is x of f. this whole thing is y of f. Note yun ha. Range. Range and this one height. So, for now, muna na siya. X of f, y of f. It is on connect, kinanglan ko space. Because of that, kabalo ka mo nga ang pangitaon nyo nga formula sa inyong notes is that of y of f. And y of f is equal to y of I plus vit. Oops. Yeah. Let's see lang edad. I need my notes as well. Hindi ko man sa ulo. Yeah. Plus 1/2 a t squared. Okay. But you know, it's g right here. Ginbutang ko lang y. So, yf naton, we have solved. It's negative 45. Ang y initial naton was 0, no? Plus, vi naton, magamiton is that of y, ha? So, this is 10t. Ay, by the way, ang aton nga unknown, wala ko ginlista. T ang ginapangita mo, how long does it take? So, 10t plus 1/2. Okay, in this case, amo na gani, y ang ginalantaw naton. So, we know nga ang isulat din naton is g. Negative 9.81 and then t squared. So, let's rearrange this whole thing. This becomes negative 45 equals 10t plus, calculator. So, 9.81 times 0.5 is 4.905. It's on 4, erase. Negative 4.905t squared. So, how do we look for t? This is a quadratic equation. So, sugdan ta siya sa, so si negative nyo set sa piyak. This becomes negative 4.905t squared. So, minus, hindi, positive siya. Dapat kay negative siya na. Negative 4.905t squared minus 10t minus 45 is equal to 0. Now, this is quite difficult to, factor out. So, you may use your calculators. Captain nyo in your calculator. Sundan nyo ko, ha? Okay. Pangitaan nyo si mode. Si mode, tupad na siya sang on na button. So, you have mode. And then, may table. May amo da sang list of, kumbaga, functions. Pangitaan nyo si EQN. Number 5 na siya. So, click 5. Okay. Now, meron naman ka mo dala sa list liwat sa functions. Pangitaan nyo da ang meron sang squared. So, number 3, diba? Number 3. So, sa number 3, kita nyo da si ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, so that's the reason why we arranged our equation this way. So, tumukan nyo si 3. Tapos mga yun na siya value kay a. Ibutan nyo dang iya nga coefficient. So, 4.905. Si b naman niya, equals kayo na equals. b, negative 10, equals. c, negative 45 equals. Equals liwat. Hulat lang kamo gamay and you should get x1 equals. So that means we have two values for t. 4.215. This is equal kamo liwat. Equal pagid. The other t is negative 2.176. These are in seconds. Now, think about this. Ano sa ilang nga duwa ang daw believable nga value for time? Of course, it's the one that is positive. There is no negative na time. So, the answer for letter A is this root right here. Time is equal to 4.215 seconds. Okay? And finally, the last problem. So, it looks kind of complicated, pero kaya tan eh, okay? Here we have a fish swimming in a horizontal plane which has a velocity of given. So, ang base ni, hindi ka mo magamba, one direction, siya kay horizontal plane, gali ni. Oh, wait lang ha, doon nag-ano ako nga. There you go. Well, it's swimming like this, no? Pero it can move, di ba, pa kadto dito. So, you can still have your x and y accordingly. The world works in a weird way. Okay. So, ang vi naton is already a vector given by 4i plus 1j. Okay. List ko na sa meters per second at a point in the ocean where Ri, so initial na ito nga displacement is 10I minus 4J meters after the fish swims with constant acceleration for time 20 seconds. Finally, its velocity is BF ni siya ha, 20I minus 5J meters per second. We have several questions. For A, what are the components of the acceleration of the fish? So for A, ang ginapangayo is acceleration. Look at your formulas and I think ang pinaka-useful is VF equals VI plus AT. So if you remember, sang mga previous naton nga examples no sa 1D, duwa ito siya mayo kagamit. But this time we are using it quite usually. So whatever. Okay, A ang ginapangita, we have values for VF, VI, and we also have T. So because the values for the VF and VI are separated according to their components, hindi na ka mo mamoblema sina danay. Which is good, I think. 20I minus 5J equals 4I plus 1J, no? Plus A, ang T natin is 20 seconds. So you can see that. Treat your I and J as variables. So you can combine like terms. What happens here is you have 20, si 4 pwede silo, so this becomes 20 minus 4I, no? Plus, negative 5, si 1 masaylo, so negative 1J equals 20A. Okay? And simplifying, 20 minus 4 is 16I plus negative 5 and negative 1 is negative 6. So, negative 6J equals 20A. And then, divide both sides by 20. And you should get A equals 0.8I minus 0.3J meters per second squared. Yeah. This is the answer for letter A. So, the components of the acceleration of the fish is 0.8I minus 0.3J meters per second squared. So, it's accelerating 0.8 meters per second squared along the x-axis, and 0.3 meters per second squared along the y-axis. Okay. Now, question letter B. Number 2. What is the direction of its acceleration with respect to unit vector I? Okay. It's, kumbaga, ang iyasining nga direction along the unit vector I means along the x-axis. And when we say direction, ina siya is just going to be theta. So, hapusan ni siya. Diri ka mo lang tao. Halin diri ka mo lang tao sa babaw. Theta is arctan, no? So, ang y natin was negative 0.3 and 0.8. So, ikaw magkabala ka nga, do ka weird sa question, ha? But it just means along the x-axis, which is the most common ng arctan man na Japon, gin-pa-weird niya lang ang question, no? So, gin-weird niya lang ang question. Let's see here. 3.8. Oops, negative today. Okay. So, what I got for theta is negative 20.56 degrees. Okay? Putang ko din. B. Theta is equal to negative 20.56 degrees. So, I am just weirding out kay... okay, good. Because in my source, it said the answer is 339 degrees. Which is good kay... I checked, no? Ang siling sang book is 339. So, gin-check ko lang, 360 minus 20.56 actually gives me 339.44, which is still okay. So, amala na yung atong answer. Still the same procedures. Tsakto man Japon nga answer. Lain lang ang pag-present, no? Finally, we have letter C. So, if the fish maintains constant acceleration, where is it at 25 seconds and in what direction is it moving? Huwag kayong magulat. With the magic of editing, na-erase ko na ang solusyon di kaghina. But yeah, we are going to write down the required information. No? So far, let's see here. So far, ang acceleration na gamitan natin will be the one that we solved in question A earlier, because it said here, constant acceleration. The fish maintains this acceleration. But this time, ang time natin is 25 seconds na. And then, because, yeah, we are looking for the direction that it is moving, this means, guys, that our R final, amo niyang ginapangita naton. Okay, so our final amo niyang ginapangita, given si time is equal to 25 seconds, kagang RI, as is lang na siya Japon, or ang initial natin na position, no? With that, look at your formulas, and I think the most useful formula is this guy, x of f equals x of I plus VIT plus 1/2 AT squared. So we have A, we know that. We have T, 25. We have VI, given. Si XI natin is given. So remember guys, instead of using X, we are now going to use R. Pero ginabalik ko lang si X, kaya nga siya na ang R sa notes niyo for sure. Para hindi damo inyo sa ulohon, no? Say, sila man na Japon, ng lain-lain lang letters. Okay. We have RF here now. Okay, let's solve. So, RI, 10I na siya, minus 4J. Okay. Plus, okay, ibutang ko di ang mga units nila sa dalawang meters. Okay. VI, 20I, oh, nope, not that one. 4I plus 1J. This one may time, di ba? Times 25 seconds. Hindi pag sa paka, ha? 25 seconds sa subong. Velocity is meters per second times ang time, of course, which is seconds. So, we are getting rid of this, actually. And then, plus 1/2. Ang A natin nga na-solve ko gina, 0.8I minus 0.3J meters per second squared times time natin nga 25 squared. Actually, kwaunta din mga units nila. 25 squared. So, unit here is meters per second squared. And of course, kay ang time natin gin squared is seconds squared. As you can see, second squared is already cancelled and this one is cancelled. So, all of our units are now in meters. I don't know, don't na-require lang ko ba lang nga isugid ini sa inyo because I think so far, I have not been including the units with our solutions, thinking that all of them are similar, kumbaga, all of them are in meters per second squared, all of that. But remember guys, if you see givens wherein ang ginagamit are in hours, or in centimeters, or maybe in feet, or minutes maybe, you have to convert these guys into seconds, convert these into meters, because our standards are all in meters per second. Okay? So yeah, if you encounter those given information, balik gid ka mo sa aton nga standard ginagamit meters per second, okay? So ginpakita ko lang. Let's proceed. With this guy, there's no need to multiply, so as is lang na sila. Pero later, mang-combine like terms kita, okay? So 4 times 25 is 100i. 1 times 25 is 25j plus 1/2 times 625 times 0.8. Diba? 250i, and then 1/2 times 625 times negative 0.3 is negative 93.75j. Combine like terms, like I said, all the i's will give you, wait lang ha, erase, RF. All the i's will give you 360i, and all the j's will give you 72.75j. Meters, kay displacement ang ginapaminsar today. So yeah, for letter C guys, for question C, our fish is moving along 360i minus 72.75j meters. But the question is the direction. So in this case guys, when we talk about direction, diba, theta na siya ngayon. So arctan, ang y ibutang sa babaw. So 72.75 nga negative. Ang x ibutang sa dalom. So, using our calculators, arctan, negative 72.75 over 360. It's negative 11.42 degrees. So, theta is negative 11.42 degrees. Okay, check ko lang ha. So, may gamay ko nga discrepancy with the with the book. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Because in the book, instead of 72.75, ang gingamit nila was 72.7 lang. So, medyo lain nila values. Otherwise, this is good. So, this is our answer for the third example.